So the policies we've been implementing over the last 8 years, they haven't been working for ordinary families, and they're not going to work now. We need to leave those policies in the past, where they belong. We need something new.
The President and I agree on most issues. There was a recent study that showed that I voted with the President over 90% of the time, higher than a lot of my even Republican colleagues.
I voted for Bush in 2000 and 2004. Okay. And not only that, far more important than a vote, I campaigned everywhere in America for him. I enjoyed it. I campaigned with him. I did everything I could to get him elected and re-elected president.
I agree with John McCain that bipartisanship and independence are important. But it was just a few months ago that he was bragging about how he's voted with George Bush 90% of the time. What kind of judgment or independence does that show if you think George Bush was right 90% of the time? I don't know about you, but I'm not ready to take a 10% chance on change. That's a risk this country cannot afford. Not this time, not now, and that's why I'm running for president of the United States.
The fact is that I have agreed with President Bush far more than I have disagreed. And on the transcendent issues, the most important issues of our day, I have been totally in agreement and support of President Bush.
But now, suddenly, John McCain says he's about change too. Suddenly he says he wants to turn the page. He had an ad today that he started running saying he and Governor Palin would bring, guess what? The change that we need. Let me tell you something. Instead of borrowing my lines, he needs to borrow some of our ideas. Change isn't about slogans. It's about substance.
At this defining moment in our history, the question's not, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? We all know the answer to that. The real question is, will our country be better off 4 years from now? How will we lift our economy and restore America's place in the world? Here's what I'll do as president. To deal with our current emergency, I'll launch a rescue plan for the middle class that begins with a tax cut for 95% of working Americans. If you have a job, pay taxes, and make less than $200,000 a year, you'll get a tax cut. I'll end the tax breaks for companies that ship our jobs overseas and give them to companies that create jobs here in America. And I'll make low-cost loans available to small businesses. To build our economy for the future, I'll focus on our urgent national priorities: reducing the cost of health care, breaking our dependence on foreign oil, and making sure that every child gets the education they need to compete. How will I pay for these priorities? First, we've got to stop spending $10 billion a month in Iraq while they run up a surplus. I'll end this war responsibly so we can invest here at home. We'll monitor the Wall Street rescue plan carefully, making sure taxpayers are protected and CEOs don't game the system. I'll let the temporary Bush tax cuts for the wealthiest 2% expire and close the corporate tax loopholes the lobbyists put in. I'll order a top-to-bottom audit of government spending and eliminate programs that don't work. We face real challenges, and they won't be easy to solve. But we can do it if we end the mindless partisanship, the divisiveness, curb special interest power, and restore our sense of common purpose. I'm Barack Obama. I approve this message and ask for your vote, because if we stand together, we can meet our challenges and ensure that there are better days ahead.
It's time to restore some balance and some fairness to the economy so it works for all Americans, so that we are lifting up Main Street, and that'll benefit Wall Street. And it starts by giving immediate relief to families who are one illness or one foreclosure or a pink slip away from disaster, to help people who are having trouble filling up the gas tank or looking at groceries going up by 30% over the last few months, to help hardworking Americans meet rising costs. So we've got a choice in this election. We can either choose a new direction, or we can keep on doing the same things that we've been doing. We can keep on doing the same things we've been doing. Now, my opponent, John McCain, thinks that we're basically on the right track. He does. He said that our economy has made great progress in the last 8 years. He has embraced the Bush economic policies and promises to continue them. Same policies as George Bush. He wants to continue the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy, and he wants to put another $300 billion worth of tax cuts on the table for corporations. Well, why not small businesses? Because he thinks it's okay the way things are going right now.
I believe that the fundamental underpinnings of America's economy is good and strong.
Fundamentals are strong. We're just in a rough patch.
And we're in a rough patch.
Fundamentals of our economy are strong.
I think our fundamentals are strong.
On the one hand, on the other hand.
On the one hand and on the other hand.
I don't believe we're headed into a recession.
I don't think we're headed to a recession.
I think it's good that Senator McCain is celebrating the American worker today. But it would have been nice if over the last 26 years that he's been in Washington, that he actually stood up for them once in a while. It would have been nice if he didn't vote against the minimum wage 19 times. Or if he didn't vote to privatize Social Security and hand it over to Wall Street. Senator McCain, you can't run away from your words, and you can't run away from your record. When it comes to this economy, you've stood firmly with George Bush and a failed economic theory, and what you're offering the American people is more of the same.
My support for President Bush has been active and very impassioned on issues that are important to the American people.
Let me tell you, we can't afford to keep on doing more of the same, and that's why I'm running for President of the United States of America. There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America. The pundits like to slice and dice our country into red states and blue states. Red states for Republicans, blue states for Democrats. But I've got news for them too. We worship an awesome God in the blue states, and we don't like federal agents poking around in our libraries in the red states. We coach Little League in the blue states, and yes, we've got some gay friends in the red states. There are patriots who opposed the war in Iraq, and there are patriots who supported the war in Iraq. We are one people, all of us pledging allegiance to the Stars and Stripes, all of us defending the United States of America.
We can do it and restore our sense of common purpose. I'm Barack Obama. I ask for your vote, because if we stand together, we can meet our challenges and ensure that there are better days ahead.